podcast for the hopeless
and the romantics.
I'm Danielle.
And I'm Katie.
And welcome. Hello. Hi.
Hi.
Come in. We're inviting you in like a vampire.
Ooh,
you're allowed in.
Only Spike.
Only Spike. I mean, yeah, I would invite Allison from Twilight and Rosalie. Oof.
I don't know who those are.
Well,
Are those in the family?
Yeah, they're his like siblings.
Oh, okay.
His vampires. Alice is the one that has like the little hair, the like flipped out hair. She looks like a little pixie.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyway, welcome. Come on in, vampire fam.
I don't count Twilight, but I guess Danielle does.
I don't really either, but like I've only recently rewatched all of them. It was very entertaining to me. Entertaining.
I definitely think that Twilight is like a really good example of how we like want people to like be obsessed with us.
True.
To like a creepy degree.
Like when we watched what was it? Like The Notebook.
Yeah.
Where it's like, go out with me.
No, but
it's less creepy.
It's worse when Edward is like, Bella, you're my life now. Jesus Christ.
And then he's like, I can't kill you because you're my life.
But I want to.
But also we can't have sex.
We're going to do Twilight
eventually,
and I have a lot to say.
Katie's got opinions.
Mostly I have anger that it ruined vampires. Like true vampire people.
You're a big Buffy fan.
And like OG vampire stuff. And then Twilight came
Yeah.
and everyone was obsessed with vampires. You know I hate when people get obsessed with things that I liked already. You know, that's a big pet peeve of mine.
I do know
And
that.
so I was so mad because it also cheapened vampires. Like it made them seem so cheesy.
Yeah.
And like they were sexy and mysterious and bad, and Twilight ruined that. Okay, this is not a Twilight podcast, but I have a lot of feelings.
I don't mind them. But anyway, this week we are talking about music and lyrics. Music and lyrics. Lyrics and music. Music and lyrics.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, this podcast is really just so I can sing every single thing I say.
Yeah.
Hi.
It is.
Welcome to my life.
So, this week we did music and lyrics. This is another... I'm not going to say, like, this is one of my favorites, because I say that literally each week.
I think most of the romantic movies we do are one of your favorites.
I was joking about how, like, because sometimes Danielle and I will talk about, like, pick-me life, and, like, how Danielle used to be a pick-me. And I just was not. And I literally said today, like, oh, I had this, like, because there's this 80s song in the movie called Pop Goes My Heart. I was like, I had this as my MySpace song. And then I was like, that's literally the opposite of a pick-me. Like, it's literally me being like, no guys will ever be interested in anything I have to say.
It's a don't pick me girl.
Pick me. Yeah, I was a don't pick me girl.
But you wanted to be picked, but not by the pick me boys.
But, like, I guess not by boys, which, you know, we could explore what that means.
We can definitely go deeper
not
into
by straight boys. Yeah, I'm fine.
Pop
goes my heart. Pop goes my heart.
If you guys haven't seen this movie, every song in it is so catchy.
Yeah, it is. It's all really good music, honestly.
Yeah.
But, like, why was I confused why boys didn't like me when, like, literally I would be like, do you guys want to talk about High School Musical?
You know what? I was very much, though I was a pick-me, I had this other side of me that was the theater and band kid. So High School Musical, right on track for me. Yeah. I love High School Musical. And I also had a big crush on Zach.
Does that count?
I almost said Zach Galifianakis. I do love him, but Zac Efron.
Zachy Effie.
I think it counts. We can do High School Musical.
Well, I think we're going to get drunk and do musicals, right? Was that what we talked about?
Yeah, maybe. I thought... We'll figure it out, but I would love to do High School Musical.
We're going to do musicals at some point. I think we should do, like, a special musical week. You know?
Yeah, I agree. If you guys want to hear that, let us know. Let us know your favorite romantic musicals. And if one of you doesn't say Moulin Rouge, I will cry. So just know, someone has to suggest that or I'm going to be crying.
Yes.
Anyway, music and lyrics. 2007. And it is Drew Barrymore, Hugh Grant, Brad Garrett, and other people.
We haven't had a chance yet to talk about Drew. We've talked a lot about Hugh. We love Hugh Grant.
Yeah, we just did him a couple weeks ago.
But we have not done Drew.
Not done Drew.
Another American Sweetheart.
Yeah. Also, trigger warning, Matthew Morrison is in this movie. So, for those of you who have watched Glee, you'll understand why it's a trigger warning.
He's literally
He's so gross. He plays like a pop star's manager in this movie, and it just, the role comes too naturally to him.
It suits him. Like, I think they made a mistake putting him in Glee.
Yeah, we were saying he's like a party for hire version of Justin Timberlake.
Ugh. He's gross.
We don't stan.
Which we don't even stan Justin anymore.
No,
for reasons we've discussed in previous podcasts.
Oh, we have. Yeah, I forgot.
So we definitely don't stand
together.
Matthew Morrison.
Boo. We don't stand Justin, who is the original Justin, but we don't stand a fake Justin. Ew.
No.
Ew.
But I think it's interesting because, like, I always felt like, ew, Matthew Morrison gives me, like, the worst vibes.
Yeah.
And then you were like, same. And so many people are like, he's just cringe.
Yeah. Like, when you watch Glee, just like he like sexualizes everything, and these are like teenagers in high school. And it's just, like, and I know that's just weird. His character's writing, but I feel like the actor as well, he just brings a weird energy to things. I also just feel
like when he got the role, it was like his big break vibe, and like he definitely was like a little bit like, I remember like him on like Ellen and stuff like that. Like he definitely was really cocky about being in Glee, and I just feel like,
should you be though?
Yeah, it's just weird.
It's strange. Anyway, this is now a Matthew Morrison hate podcast.
I know, and like honestly, we don't know him, but
yeah, I guess.
I do feel weird.
Listen, I'm a Virgo. I like to judge. I can't help it.
I know you do, but I do like, you know.
Yeah, but this movie's so good. Music and lyrics. If you guys haven't seen it, go watch it, because it's like, I feel like it's a very underrated romantic movie.
I don't know that I would say underrated, but like at the end of people wanting to watch traditional romantic comedies, it was like it was like that, and then in 2009 I think was The Proposal, and then like after that it's like we don't see a traditional romantic comedy really again.
Yeah, not until like later with like Crazy Rich Asians, which is like inspired by a book, so like something like original like screenplay wise.
Yeah, I just feel like we've kind of lost that, and that's why I think Crazy Rich Asians was so good, because it was like,
we were all so excited. We were like, oh my god, here we go, it's coming back.
And now we're getting some like queer ones that are coming out and stuff like that, which is really exciting. But I do feel like the standard romantic comedy era was kind of ending like around this time, so I do think it didn't get as much like success or like like clout,
acclaim
as it would have if it came out like 5 years before it did.
Yeah,
you know?
100%.
Like if it came out in 2004.
Yeah, it would have been a lot more. Which is so crazy. It's like the difference of only a couple years.
Yeah.
Which like 2004 is probably when they were like coming up with the screenplay and like writing it.
But it's so crazy too, because like after this point it's like we really phased into like indie movies. Like it was like Little Miss Sunshine, and like then all of a sudden it was like we were all watching like indie rom-coms, and
like
stuff like
Nick
that,
and Nora,
that were like such a different vibe.
Yeah, they weren't like big box office rom-coms, but people loved them. Like 500 Days of Summer. And they are usually
not like happy ending rom-coms.
500 Days of Summer.
More realistic, more kind of dark. So yeah, I think this movie,
it's because we were all on Tumblr so much, and we were like, we're all sad.
Yeah, I think this movie was one of the last kind of that like variety of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the movie opens with a music video for this song, Pop Goes My Heart. And it's like a very cheesy like 80s music video with like the cheesy like camera effects where like they're skipping frames, or there's like a holographic heart, and they're in like just a studio dancing. And Hugh Grant has like the Flock of Seagulls haircut.
Yes.
And it's set up as like one of those like VH1 pop-up videos, which I loved.
I loved those.
That was my favorite. When I would be getting ready for school, I would be late because I would just be watching like the little facts on VH1. So I could be like, oh my god, this happened? And it's like a song I've never heard of before that I've no interest
you don't care about, a song you've never heard.
And I'm just like, wow, can you believe the drummer did that?
I love that.
I can't believe that.
Yeah, no, those were really fun.
So it's doing these like little pop-up facts, and it's basically saying like the lead singer Colin has this incredible, amazing career, and they haven't heard from the other lead singer, Alex, in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And then the music video ends, and Alex is in a boardroom with, like, some, like, Hollywood execs, you know?
Yep.
And they're pitching him, what is it? Battle of the 80s Has-Beens. And so it's basically, like, do you remember that show on MTV where it was, like, the claymation celebrities were fighting each other? God, I can't remember what it was called. It was, like, aggressive. I'm sure whoever's listening knows exactly what I'm talking about. But, like, they would, like, make claymation versions of celebrities and have them just do, like, UFC fights, essentially, and, like, ripping off each other's heads.
What the hell? How did I miss that?
It was so weird. But it reminds me of that. So it's basically Alex, who is played by Hugh Grant. He's like, oh, yeah, I'd love to perform, like, a song or two while I'm on there. And the execs say, well, we can't really promise you're going to perform anything because, you know, it's boxing. You have to win the match to perform.
Oh, God.
And it's like...
He's like, wait, what? Because he thought it was going to be, like, they battled through song.
Yeah. And, like, he doesn't mind, like, you know, taking the role of has-been. Like, he's very much made peace with it. But
he's like, I'm a happy has-been.
I'm a happy has-been. And so he leaves the conference room and ends up back at his apartment where his manager, Chris, who's played by Brad Garrett, who we love. I love his voice. It's, like, the perfect voiceover voice.
He does have a really good voice.
He's got a really good voice. But he's basically just apologizing for making him put up with that.
I didn't know it was, like, about fighting.
And while they're having this discussion, Alex gets a call that, like, someone is there to water his plants and to let her up. And he was like, okay, she seems persistent. And, yeah, so the woman who comes up to water his plants is Sophie. Sophie.
Drew Barrymore.
Drew, if you're listening. She looks so good in this movie,
She's so cute. I love her little apple cheeks.
Her apple cheeks and, like, her chin. Like, the structure of her face is just so, like...
She's so cute.
Dramatic in the best ways. Like, I love her.
I feel like Drew is such a good example of someone who's, like, gone through really rough times and, like, healed and grown and become, like, such an amazing beautiful person.
Like, she gives me such a great vibe.
She really does. Like, honestly, all the stuff she does now, she has her show, which I heard she's taking Ellen's slot.
Bummer.
But I don't know how true that is.
I wouldn't be upset by that. And I heard it was either her or, like, Kelly Clarkson. Yeah. Because Kelly Clarkson has a show like Drew's, too.
Yeah.
But I love Drew.
Yeah, and also her makeup line is really good.
So good.
I really like it.
And it's, like, inexpensive, too.
Yeah, it started as Walmart only. And, like, that's why she made the brand, was to be accessible to, like, all walks of... Yeah.
We love a self-aware queen. Like, it's just so beautiful to
see. And truly,
someone.
Drew Barrymore has no reason to be self-aware because she's from a family of successful people.
Successful actors.
So it's like, cool that she has that self-awareness.
She's breaking that generational trauma, baby.
She is.
She's starting new, like... It's so... I love her. She's like, so inspiring.
Think about her in E.T., dude. Like, she was a baby.
So little.
And
I loved her.
To go through everything she's gone through and be this person who's, like, truly, to me, just, like, spreads positivity. She's just, like, a light. It's so great. We love you, Drew.
Like, spreads positivity without it being toxic positivity. Like, discusses dark things, but also, like, it's just... She's so beautiful.
Yeah.
We love you, Drew. Yeah, we could talk about you for hours because... You are a shining beacon of light.
Yeah, she's amazing.
And we will talk about you again, so I'm sure eventually it'll add up to hours.
True.
So Sophie is at Alex's apartment to water the plants.
She's kind of got this chaotic energy. Like, she's very, like, just throws her stuff, her coat and everything, and you notice right away Alex, like, picks it up and moves it.
Very much air sign, earth sign.
Yeah,
meeting
vibes.
Yeah,
and Drew or Sophie is, like, going to water the plants, and, like, she just has this, like, really frantic energy. She's kind of talking, and they're just like, sure. Like,
clearly she's in the middle of their conversation.
Yeah, so then they keep talking, and, like, maybe a minute or two later, you hear her be like, ah! and Alex is kind of like, are you okay? Like, what happened? And she's like, do you have, like, antibiotic ointment and like a Band-Aid, and he was like, no, and she was like, I need to leave then. And you can tell she like, I think she like poked her finger on like
a cactus.
But what's so funny is like she says, she's like, I'm kind of like a hypochondriac, but like I need to leave. So she just like runs out.
Yeah.
And then Chris goes, don't give her
Don't give her your key. Yeah. So Chris, Alex's manager, is explaining to Alex, like, listen, like, a lot of your gigs have canceled. Like, and Alex is doing these kind of, like, how do I describe it? Like, theme park show gigs, like, where he's, like, performing for, like, very clearly, like, an older audience while their kids are on rides or whatever.
Yeah.
Or he's doing, like, class reunions, stuff like that. And he had a couple of gigs cancel. So, like, even within his lost relevancy, he's losing relevancy.
Yes.
And that's scary for Alex. But Chris tells him that there's this new amazing artist that everybody loves named Cora, and she loves Alex and wants him to write a song for her and would like to meet him first. So Alex is very excited by this prospect.
I think, like, the has-been thing, it's like, that even can only last for so long.
Yeah.
Because eventually, like,
there's going to be new has-beens.
Yeah.
like the 80s has-beens getting replaced by the 90s has-beens getting replaced by the 2000s has-beens. It's like, how do you keep up when you're in that industry? But so they go to meet Cora that night. And Cora is very much inspired by a lot of these 2000s pop stars who were being used for their sex appeal and, like, also, like, appropriating culture.
It's a very, like, satirical take on, like we were saying, like, Madonna and, like, you know, just these people who get a lot of money and success, and then they think it's okay to, like, just take on a whole new cultural, and, like, butcher the
meaning behind it. And she was telling Alex,
like her most popular song is called Buddha's Delight.
And she says, I want to find my Buddha tonight.
Yeah.
And it's, like, very clearly satirical. It's not meant to be offensive to the culture.
It's making fun of how obtuse, you know,
elite
rich,
Hollywood.
Elite people are about
what these ideologies are actually about. So she tells Alex, she's like, me and my boyfriend of almost 2 months just broke up. And I've been reading this book,
called A Way Back Into Love. By, like, Guru something. Yeah. And she was like, I want a song that's called A Way Back Into Love, inspired by the book, and I want you to write it. Yeah.
And Alex is very excited, but he is not a lyricist because our guy doesn't like to be vulnerable.
Well, also, I think he was more, like, when he was in pop, Colin and him wrote lyrics and songs together, so... He had to... So he never wrote the lyrics. Yeah. That was just not his thing. Yeah. He wrote the melodies.
Yeah. And so Chris sets him up with this lyricist who's written for Avril.
Avril. Oh, my God. Avril Lavigne called Avril.
I like, didn't catch that joke the first time I watched this movie, but just today when you said Avril, I was like, oh, my God. Yeah. Avril Lavigne.
He writes for Avril.
Avril. And so...
Did you notice that guy was also in 2 Weeks' Notice?
The lyricist?
Mm-hmm. He played, like, the guy who works in the office, who's, like, kind of annoying.
Yeah! Oh, my God, yeah. He's, Sandra Bullock's assistant. Uh-huh. Oh, my God, that's so funny. Yeah. I did not notice that.
Because it's the same writer and director.
Oh, so he just loves Hugh Grant.
Yeah, he did another movie with Hugh Grant, too.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, we love Hugh Grant. I was saying the whole movie, he looks like a little puppy dog the entire time.
He does have this, like...
endearing.
Like, yeah, he's just... Ugh, he is. He's endearing.
He's so endearing. Annoying. He's, like, bumbling endearing, where it's constantly like, oh, well, I don't know. Like, very
Back
much
to
like...
what we said last time. Female gaze 1,000.
True.
1,000.
Like women... Like men written by women.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, he has that energy that, like, men don't get.
Yeah.
When they see him, they're like, why do you like him?
Yeah, 100%.
And women are just like,
he's just so cute. Yeah. So he is trying to write... Alex is trying to write this song with a lyricist who is written for Avril. And the lyricist is just kind of thinking about, like...
He's very emo.
Yeah, he's very emo, very,
dark.
it's the quality that matters. Do you want to write just another, like, bubblegummy pop song? And it's like, kind of.
Yeah, kind of, because I'm writing for a
bubblegummy pop person.
Queen.
Yeah. And so, like, his lyrics are like, I'm a witch and let's do this, bitch.
I'm
like
a cold hard bitch. Yeah.
So while he's writing with the lyricist, Sophie comes back to water his plants finally, and this time hopefully without any blood.
I just like every time she comes in, it's like this chaotic burst.
Whirlwind,
yeah. Where she's just like, hi, sorry they let me up here. Like, I'm fine. I overreacted. Like,
She even says at one point in the movie, like, I'm sorry, I just have no filter. And she says this in response because as Alex and the lyricist are writing the song, she's kind of like singing along to it, but adding her own lyrics. And Alex is realizing her lyrics are better than the lyricist.
Yes.
Because him and the lyricist just are not jiving well. And so Alex fires the lyricist, and he storms off in a huff and is, like, begging Sophie to write lyrics for him. And she's like, I've never written music. I'm not going to do that. Like, no, thank you.
She's like, no, that's just not for me. And she, like, runs out.
Oh, she says at one point, he's like, have you ever heard of pop? And she's like, oh, yeah, my sister was obsessed with them. They had, like, the terrible hair and those cheesy videos. And then sees, like, all the posters on his walls are pop. And she's like, oh.
You're one of them,
You're
aren't
one
you?
of them. And then, yeah, she leaves in, like, a whirlwind again.
Yeah, and he's kind of follows her to the elevator, and he's like, well, I'm going to be performing at the Hilton tonight. Like, if you want to come, and we can maybe talk. And she's like, no. And then she runs into the elevator and leaves. So then we flash that Sophie's at her sister Rhonda's, and her sister is married with 2 kids, and they're probably like, the kids are probably like 10 and
10 and 8
or something like that. And she owns this, like, her parents opened this, like, weight loss firm, and, like, she owns the franchise. I feel like it's kind of like Weight Watchers vibes.
I was just gonna say that. It's very Weight Watchers vibes.
Yeah. So, but she's really funny. I remember being young and being like, I think she's kind of like me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Her energy, like, her character is so funny. Just very, like aggressive in, like, a really great way.
Like, endearing way.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just so funny. Like, she basically, Sophie's like, yeah, I was writing this guy's plans, and like, you know, he's you remember the band Pop? And she's like, oh my god.
Yes. She freaks out.
And she's like, well, it's like Alex Fletcher. And she's like, oh my god, Alex Fletcher. And then she basically says, like, he has a show tonight that he wants me to go to. And she's like, Gary, I'm going out.
As soon as they got back, Gary, I'm going out.
So she changed her clothes and everything, and then they went to this show, and Rhonda's, like, hysterical. And I was saying I really relate to this because, like, when I saw the Backstreet Boys, like, I swear to you, like, something took over my human body, and I was like 6 years old. I never got to see them as a kid or anything, and so I think it, like, brought something out in me where I was just like, AJ!
I got to see. My dad somehow won tickets to an NSYNC show one time, and, like, I was at softball in the middle of a game, and my mom comes up to me and goes, hey, I know you're in the middle of your game, but would you rather go see NSYNC tonight? And I was like, would I rather what?
That happened?
It was seriously out of a dream. It was really sweet.
That's, like, such an exciting moment.
It was
because you lived close enough to cities that, like, it wasn't crazy for there to be, like, a good concert near you.
Yeah, I lived right outside of Philadelphia, so, like, we always had, like, really great concerts, and so we went and saw them at...
Was it amazing?
The Lincoln Financial Field. It was... I have no words.
Oh, my God. I can't remember.
No, it was really good, because I remember going with my mom and my cousin Sarah, and my cousin Sarah was, like, too young to be at concerts, but she fell asleep during the concert. Meanwhile, I'm like, I love you so much.
Who was your favorite?
JC Chavez.
Really?
I was a JC girl. Now he's like a like carpenter. I'm obsessed with that.
I can't remember which one JC is.
He was the second hottest. Everyone loved Justin.
I loved Lance.
Oh, yeah, I do love Lance.
I was a Lance Bass girl. When I was, NSYNC was my, like, second favorite.
Yeah.
But I definitely was a Lance girl.
Yeah, no, I loved JC.
No surprise here. He's a completely gay man. Going back to my not pick me
Did
phase.
you see me? I was like, that kind of makes sense that you loved Lance.
I was obsessed with Lance.
I love Lance too. I think he's also such a good person now. Like, he's like very active on social media, and he's so funny.
Yeah.
We love you, Lance. But yeah, so I definitely relate to the whole like feeling.
No, when I saw the Backstreet Boys as like 23 years old or something, I was just like, I love you! I love you, Rachel! I was like crazy. I was like embarrassed after. I was like, am I okay? Like,
did you ever like?
I feel like I like went out of my body.
Did you feel like they were gonna like spot you in the crowd and take you backstage?
Did I think they were gonna spot me in the crowd?
Like, I've never had an original thought, because when people started saying that, I was like, oh, that's what I always thought when I would
go to any concert.
Yeah, I'm like, they're gonna notice me.
Yeah.
They're gonna
like at the
notice
Hollywood
me.
Bowl, I'll be like, maybe Lana will see me. Like, I always think that's
and
gonna
she'll
happen.
just really like my vibe.
Yeah, she'll just love my energy.
I always thought they were gonna see me and be like, she's incredible at this massive football field stadium where you can't see a single face.
Also, the thing that's so funny when you're 7 or 8 years old and you love a 28-year-old man, but like you don't think about it like that. Like when you're obsessed with like Lance Bass, you're like,
it's time for us to get married.
Yeah, even though like that's never gonna happen, kiddo.
Nope.
I remember when I went to go see High School Musical 3 in theaters. Yeah, I did that.
Proud of you.
Thank you so much. I remember there was all these like 8-year-old girls there, and they were like obsessed with Zac, and I was like, I'm the only one old enough to actually be with Zac Efron, not to you children back there.
I gotta go my own way.
Oh my god.
What about okay, sorry. Back to music and lyrics. So Rhonda's like freaking out because she's watching Alex in Pop. Goes my heart. And like he's like doing this iconic hip move, ends up hurting his hip and having to limp off stage. And it's like very clearly at like a 20th high school reunion.
So you're seeing like the caliber of where this man's
and why this would be important for him to have this writing gig. So he meets up with Sophie afterwards because she comes and finds him, and he's like, I wasn't expecting to see you. And he's kind of begging her again to, write lyrics.
Yeah.
And Rhonda the whole time is just like swooning over him.
Yeah.
I can't remember. Is this where she agrees to write the lyrics? I think it is.
I think she just says she'll try.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite scenes in the whole movie, Rhonda's like, can you take a picture of us? And they're standing there like kind of going back and forth. And she's just like, someone could have sculpted us by now. Like, just take the picture.
Yeah. So after this, we have Sophie arriving at Alex's apartment again. And we kind of get a little bit of a montage because they're starting to write this song.
And she's just like clipping her pen constantly.
Yeah,
and like,
I relate to that.
Me too.
Yeah.
And like, they're like, a way back into love. Okay. And this goes on for like a while.
Yeah.
Like 10 minutes or like
so like a solid 10-minute montage.
Yeah.
And it's them like coming up with lyrics and like her moving the piano around so she can see him better. And at one point they have like a decent amount of lyrics, but she's like, I need some bread. Like, I need some breakfast. And so they head to breakfast where they pass by a bookshop, and like Sophie is
she hides.
Yeah, hides from a book.
Because she thinks
that
it's this man, Sloane Cates, who...
Oh, you know the name.
Oh, yeah.
I was just going to say this man.
No, Sloane Cates. And basically, that when they're at breakfast, obviously Alex is like, what just happened? Like, you're afraid of a picture.
Yeah.
And she explains to him that when she was going to the new school, he was her professor, and they had an affair. She didn't know it was an affair. And then she finds out he was engaged and blah, blah, blah. It was like this really sad thing. She loved him and she was really hurt. And then like a year later, this book comes out. Basically, she's like, that's me. Like, I'm the person that he was
like,
writing
used
about.
my entire life.
And Alex is like, are you sure? Like, it's obviously not you. Because the story is that like she seduced him and like basically like forced him into an affair and like all this shit, even though that's not what happened.
And like just drug him down, essentially.
And she's like literally explaining like, no,
this
sister
girl has every single quirk I have,
and like the sister owns a like weight loss company, like all these things, and he's like, oh shit. And she says like the worst thing was like there's one part where he basically says of this character that she is like a mimic and she's good at like using other people's writing material, but like her own writing skills are like completely like vacuous and empty without someone else's like input, and how that just like ruined her because she felt like she really wanted to be a writer, and
I can't imagine what that must
someone
feel
that
like.
she would loved saying that too,
and like also just using your entire life,
and someone that you really respected like saying that about you is so awful. So basically Alex is like, well, screw him, like now you're about to write lyrics for like an extremely successful artist. And she's like, I doubt he would be impressed with me writing lyrics for like a pop star. And then this is one of my favorite parts of the movie. Is Alex says like, right, because you know pop music is just so like lacking and so lame and whatever. And he's like, here's the thing, there's nothing, no novel, no book can make you feel as good as quickly as I got sunshine on a cloudy day. You know? And he's like, say what you want about pop music, but that's true. Yeah. And I like love that because I do feel like I'm such an advocate of just, first of all, liking whatever you like, but this is very similar to how I feel about romantic movies. Like, pop music gets this rap of being like lame and vacuous and sort of
vapid,
not as good as, you know,
well, and I mean, think about the target audiences for these specific categories, pop music and romantic movies. It's women, and so it's all based in misogyny, why these things are considered vapid, because anything, I mean, not to generalize or step on my soapbox, but like anything that primarily women are interested in can't possibly be that deep.
As good or as
like
deep.
Intellectual. Yeah,
and so I really like that moment because I do feel like pop music does make you fucking feel good.
It does, yeah.
You know, I've had so many arguments with like music people like who will shit on Britney Spears. And I'm just like, okay, first of all, she works her ass off. Obviously now there's a lot more to say about that, but you might not like her music, you might not think she's talented, but at the end of the day, like, she sells out stadiums for a reason. It's because of how she makes people feel. And I felt always like so empowered by Britney growing up, and like still do. So it just like always annoys me when there's this need to have this, like, it's just pretentious.
It's all pretentious. It's
like
people just pontificating about like how what they like is actually intellectual and interesting. You know, it's not true. Yeah.
Not only sad things are good.
Yeah.
Like, yes, there's a lot of sad things that are great, but just because it's fucking depressing doesn't mean it's like somehow superior to something that makes you feel happy.
Yep.
Anyways, I literally could go on about this for an hour.
Yeah.
But he says that, and he basically tells her like maybe like the best thing that you could do is to like let go of this hold that this character has on you.
Yeah.
Because you deserve to be happy, and like this person like doesn't know who you really are, and you can prove him wrong. And he kind of says like, maybe you're being a little bit like indulgent. Yeah. But ultimately, like, you know, you can
use this to grow and like
exactly
also
and not
like
hide behind.
And also like this is a really great opportunity for someone who does love creative writing and like kind of just fell into it, you know. So they end up finishing the song, and they record like a little demo. Like Alex gets her to sing in the demo.
You can definitely feel there's like an energy between them.
There's definitely an energy, especially when they're singing. Like it ramps up. So they go to chorus. They go to meet Cora, and show her the song. And
that's when she's like about to fly away.
She's getting on a helicopter for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And so she stands there and listens to it on a CD player in front of them. And they're kind of just, like, staring at her and seeing what she thinks. And she decides she loves it. Because there were other people writing the same song for her. But, like, she just wanted to pick and choose, like, which one she thought was the best. And she said, it captures exactly what I wanted.
Yep.
So they get chosen to write it. And she says, but I want to add another verse, and we can, like, have a discussion about, like, what we want it to be. Mm-hmm. So they are very excited, Alex and Sophie. So excited.
Chris calls, and they basically go to dinner.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm all disheveled. And he's like, who cares? It's fine. And so they go to this restaurant, and Chris is out. He's on a date with someone. Mm-hmm. And so they're all sitting there, and they're having, like, a good time. And all of a sudden... Sophie sees Sloane Cates at this restaurant. And she just completely loses her shit. Mm-hmm. So she, like, runs into the bathroom, and Alex is like, I'm going to go check on her.
I'm going to go give a look in, see how she's doing. I don't know what I'm doing.
I can't. But yeah, so... He goes, and he's kind of encouraging her to speak to him. Mm-hmm. She really doesn't want to. But she says, like, I have a speech rehearsed of what I would say to him. And she's like...
It's a really good speech.
It's good.
Yeah.
She's like, really this character has, like, taken from me, like, and you've ruined my life, basically. And he's like, yeah, like, you should tell him that. Mm-hmm. And she's like, I can't. So, like, literally... She, like, switches outfits with, like, his date. Mm-hmm. I mean, they make her look really pretty. Yeah. And then she goes up to Sloane. Alex is standing next to her, and she just can't speak. She's like, and he's, like, this confident piece of shit.
Who's, like, talking over her, doesn't care that she's not talking. It's just like, let's meet up sometime.
He's like, how have you been? Like, we should definitely get together sometime. And, like...
He says, like, they're going to make it into a movie. His
book. Yeah. He's like, yeah, just, total sellout. We're making it into a movie. And Alex is kind of like, wait, like, that character is kind of trying to say the speech. But this guy just talks over him and walks away. Mm-hmm. And so then Sophie's just like, I can't believe this just happened. Like, I feel so stupid. I feel so terrible. You can tell Alex feels bad because he kind of... pushed her into it. This, yeah. So he, like, goes over to, like, where Sloane is sitting, and he's like, hey, like, he kind of taps him, and Sloane stands up, and he's like, I think she deserves a chance to say, like, what she needs to say. Yeah. And he's like, I know what she's going to say, and I don't care, and I don't want to hear it. And he's like, and then he sits back down, and then Alex is just like, oh, shit. And he, like taps.
You can tell he doesn't want to, but he does anyway.
He does. He taps him again, and he's like, come on, like... You owe her this. You, like, ruined her life with this book. Like, Sally Michaels, that's her name. Sorry.
Oh, that's it, yeah.
And this guy is just like, give it a rest. Like, leave me alone. And kind of, like, shoves him. So then Alex is like, no. And, like, shoves him back. And they're kind of shoving each other for a minute. Yeah. And then somehow his elbow ends up in the butter. Yeah. Alex's. Anyways, it's definitely, like, a chivalrous moment.
It's so sweet. I want someone to fight someone.
Yeah, and, like, he deserved that. Yeah. He was an asshole.
Yeah, he was a dick.
And so they go back to his house, and he's got, like, his hip, he's like, my pop hip is acting up or whatever. So they're sitting down, or he's sitting down on the couch, and she's like, I'm so embarrassed. Like, I can't believe that happened. And he's like, that guy is a jerk. Like, that's it. No, there's no, and she's like, he's not though. And he's like, no, he is. He's a jerk. He's a jerk. He's a horrible person. Yeah. And, like,
he says to her, like, I also feel like the reason you didn't say anything is because you can't really hide behind Sally Michaels anymore. Like, you would have to, like, come out and be your own person. Like,
wait, he doesn't say that to her yet, right?
He says it at one point this night because she's like, wow, that's really observant. Oh, yeah. And he's like, I mean, I can be observant for everyone else except myself. Virgo.
T.
And yeah,
he just he says a lot of sweet stuff to her that night, and, like, basically they kiss, and then
that's when they kiss.
Yeah, and because what he says to her is, like, you're better than this guy, you're better than that situation, and, like, you deserve better and whatever. Yeah. So they end up having sexual relations under the piano.
Ooh. Very like Michael Bolton.
We love it. So his phone starts ringing. He wakes up in the morning, hits his head on the piano, runs outside to talk to Chris.
Comedy.
Right. And Chris is like, what, you have like your show today or whatever. And he's he's like, Chris, I slept with Sophie. Mm-hmm. And Chris is like, no, you slept with Sophie. Dumb. Like, why did you do that? Like, whatever. You know, because of course it's going to complicate things. So basically she wakes up and he's like, oh, I have like my gig today at like, what is it, Knott's Berry or something?
He was upset that Knott's Berry canceled. Oh, yeah. It's at like Adventureland or something.
Yeah. And she's like, I mean, I don't have anything to do today. And he's like, oh, okay, like you can come.
Yeah.
So they're clearly in this like weird,
what are we,
territory now.
Situationship.
Yeah. So she goes with him. And it's like, there's not a lot of people there. It's kind of sad.
And so Chris tells him that they want him to do this one song, which is like, please dance with me tonight or whatever. And like, Alex doesn't really want to do it. He kind of wants to end the show, like just wants it to be done.
Because he's embarrassed.
Yeah. And Sophie kind of just like hypes him up. Just like, no, your music is really good. I don't care what other people have to say or that it's like has-been music. I think you should be really proud of it and go do it.
Yeah,
like,
it's a nice moment.
It's a really sweet moment. And, like, get you someone who hypes you up the same way.
I know. They just hype each other up.
They do.
It's so nice.
So he goes out and performs it and clearly has, like, a really nice time.
And then that night they go to her sister's for dinner. And she gets to, like, meet Alex and hang out with him. And so that's kind of funny. She keeps feeding him mashed potatoes.
And her sister's basically just telling Sophie, like, I just want you to be careful. Wait for him to give you, like, a passionate moment to know if he's actually into you, you know?
Yeah, and she also says, like, you know, you don't fall very often, and I just want to make sure that you fall for someone who...
deserves you.
Who really cares about you, yeah. And she's like, I know, like, you know, and she's like, he's great, I like him, but I just want to make sure that you have someone who wants to take care of you.
Yeah.
And so then it's like they're leaving her apartment and Alex and Sophie are like doing the awkward thing where it's like, I'm this way, okay, like, so and they're going to see Cora the next day. And so it's like, okay, like, I can pick you up, like, I'm on the way. It's just like that awkward vibe. So, it's kind of cute. And they kiss and then he leaves and then basically the next day they're at Cora's at the studio.
And she shows them what she wants to do with the song.
Yes.
Which is very Indian inspired. Yes. Like with the music and like the way she's singing it. And she wants to add a verse and you can tell
she's
Sophie,
like belly dancing.
Yeah. And like Alex is kind of just like people pleasing essentially to her because he knows this is what he needs to get another big break. So he's like, yeah, that sounds amazing.
She's
Let's
just
do
like
it.
belly dancing and like moaning, and she's like, way back into love.
It's so bad.
And Sophie is just like upset.
Yeah.
You know, because she put her heart into the original.
And Sophie keeps trying to say that, but Alex kind of, like, rushes her out and says, like, yeah, we'll do everything, don't worry.
Yeah, he stops her from saying her opinion. Which
and, yeah, it's gross.
We don't stand. And
Cora invites them to a pre-recording party for the song the next day. And Sophie's pretty much like, I'm going to tell her what I think about it at the party.
And they have, like, a little bit of an argument where he's kind of just like...
You're not invited.
Don't. Like, I need this job, you know? And she's like, but it won't be the same song. Like, she needs to know why it's important for us to keep it the way that it is. Like, just all that.
Yeah. So the recording party comes, and Sophie's trying to tell Cora what she thinks about it. And, like, Alex keeps talking over her, keeps trying to make it so that she can't talk. And, like, Cora at one point goes, sorry, Alex, I'd like to hear what Sophie's trying to say. Which, like, we stan. And Sophie's pretty much just like, it feels pandering. Like,
I know. I was surprised when she said that. I was like, you couldn't come up with a better way to say that. And Cora's like, thank you for being honest, but my fans just want to see me dance.
And Shakira is breathing down my neck.
Yeah, she's like, my record only got into the second place last time, and I want to be first. And they love to see me dance. And so she basically tells her no.
Yeah.
And Alex is like, that's fine.
Mm-hmm. We'll go write that verse now. And so Alex kind of talks Sophie into sitting down and trying to write a new verse. And you can tell Sophie's very upset. Because it kind of, like, cheapens the value of the song to her.
And I'm very split on this. Like, I totally get why Alex is annoyed, because it's like, he literally needs this job. Like, this is a huge deal. And I feel like Sophie is being a little bit like, who fucking cares? Like, that's kind of how I feel.
You know you're selling it to a pop star. You know it's going to go through the industry and change and warp.
And the fact that she's saying, like, I just can't write it. I just can't. Like, I can see why he was getting super frustrated. But I can also see why why that matters to her. Based on everything she's been through.
Yeah.
You know.
So they're sitting there trying to write, and Sophie writes down, like, sorry, I can't do this. And as she's leaving, Alex kind of lays into her.
Ooh.
And he says, you know, everything in that book was correct.
I read the book.
I wanted to not believe it was you, but it's completely true.
Like, you are, like, hiding behind this, like, person, and you, like, hold yourself back and whatever. And then she says she listened to his record. And it's just, like, there's nothing... It's just it's pandering. It's trying to make hits, and that's why it's not good. And so she's just like, how are you not hearing that, like, if we do that, like, it's not going to be as popular of a song as if we stick to our guns. Whereas he's just like, you do this to yourself. Like, you put yourself in this situation. What he says is, like, really mean.
Yeah, I can't remember the words specifically, but, like...
He lays in.
He's a dick. Yeah.
And then she just gets up and walks out. She doesn't even fight him, which... Oof. So then the next day he goes into her, like, the weight loss place where she works, and he, like, has a gift for her niece and nephew, and then he just, like, goes to the back to talk to her, and she's like, I'm gonna move to Florida, like, I'm gonna, like, help my sister open her next store or whatever. And he's just like, why are you doing this? Like, what are you doing? And she's just like, you were right, like, just...
Yeah,
I'm just gonna keep doing this job. Like, I'm tired. I don't want to do that. So he walks away really defeated, and you don't really see. You see, like, time kind of passing. Like, there's a little montage.
A little montage of them being so lost
sad.
Without each other.
Oh my god, the sandwich scene.
There's this random scene of Sophie eating a sandwich on a bench, and, like, I guess the way to show someone being sad is them not being able to keep a sandwich together. Because, like, she's eating it, and it all falls on the ground, and it's just like, oh, like, it feels like an infomercial.
Almost. It does feel like an infomercial.
It was so strange.
It was a weird scene. But the rest of them are all very, they're just both sad and blah, blah, blah. So then they see an ad for the Cora concert, the live show at Madison Square Garden, where they're going to reveal the new song. And they got tickets, obviously, for, like, the kids and everything. And so Rhonda is like, I really want you to come. I know it's going to be hard, but it's kind of like... This one last thing, you go your way. And my niece
and nephew, like, or your niece and nephew have been telling everyone their aunt wrote a song for Cora.
And they're so excited. Yeah. So, they get to the concert, and Cora's very sexual right away.
She comes out of a Buddha.
And she's, like,
it's so
humping.
bad. Yeah, it's so bad. But, yeah, very sexual right away.
Yes. And basically then, after she finishes, like, the first song, she's like... Oh, there's someone who's going to perform a never before heard song before written by Alex Fletcher. And so at first they're like, Alex Fletcher and Sophie.
My sister.
Yeah, like, what the fuck?
Yeah, they're pissed.
And Sophie's like, I have to leave. And so she gets up to leave, and then...
Alex sings the song.
Oh!
It made us both cry.
And I've seen this, like, so many times.
But it's just so sweet. It's basically him, like, putting her little quirks into song form and saying, like, don't write me off just yet, because...
He actually writes the lyrics also, which is a big deal.
He wrote the lyrics.
She inspired him to write lyrics, which he's never felt inspired to do before.
It's so good.
And the song is like, don't write me off just yet.
Like, him basically saying he's made a ton of mistakes and doesn't deserve any more chances, but he would love for her to come back and continue to kill his plants.
So she's, like, tearing up, and she, like, runs to go backstage.
Mm-hmm.
And he's back there, and he's kind of looks, like, shocked to see her. And then, you know, he's, like, she's like, Alex, like, that was beautiful. And he's just, like...
She was like, that was dinner. Because the whole time he's saying, like...
His music
is dessert.
The Beatles are dinner. Yeah. And she was like, that was dinner.
Yeah. So sweet.
So then they're about to kiss, and then Cora announces
that they're gonna sing.
Way Back Into Love, music and lyrics by...
They said the name of the movie. Movie name.
So they sing, Alex and Cora sing Way Back Into Love together. It's actually so good.
Yeah, Alex convinced Cora to keep it like...
Yeah, And he told her, he was like, at first I told her it, like, cheapened the value of the song, and it was contradictory, and when that didn't work, I just told her that I wanted to get you back. And turns out Cora's a romantic.
And I think what inspired this is, like, Sophie sent lyrics to Cora for the final verse. Like, she still wrote it. And, like, the final verse was basically, like, I don't want another negotiation. Like,
yeah.
I just want to be in love. And so, like, that kind of inspired Alex to, like, go up to bat for Sophie and write this song. Yeah.
So they sing the song together, and then right as it ends, he, like, runs backstage, and he picks her up, and they're making out. It's so cute.
And like he's like swinging her around while they're kissing. Oh God. And that's pretty much the end of the movie.
Yeah.
We have, like, a credit scene where it's another, like, VH1 pop-up video.
Yes.
And, like, you know how in rom-coms they always do those title cards that are, like, Sophie and Alex went on to blah, blah, blah. Like, this was a really cute way of doing that.
Yeah, it was funny.
And basically said, like, now they're writing a lot of hit songs. They're, you know...
His new album's going to come out.
His new album's coming out.
Written by both of them.
Yeah.
They live together. They have only plastic plants because Sophie kills all the plants.
And it's just, like, such a sweet movie. Such a sweet ending.
It is. It's so cute. It's so funny.
Love through music and lyrics.
Okay. We love to see it.
Katie.
What?
I have a question.
What?
How'd this movie fuck you up?
Oh
my God.
I feel like just
scared me.
Just Hugh again in just bastardly ways. But also, it just had this such a, again, I think because it was one of the last ones, just had this lightness and this warmth to it that was so fun and just feel good. It just makes you feel good.
Feel good.
And I actually really love all the music. Like,
the
high
music's
key, I was
so
like
good.
Into all the songs.
Yeah.
Like Way Back Into Love. Like all those songs. Even Pop Goes My Heart I thought was so good. So yeah, I love the music of the movie too.
Yeah.
It definitely helps make it more like believable. You know? Also I like how they gave Cora
a like redeeming
she
story
had
line.
like this real feeling like that she could have easily been like a real pop star. Do you know what I mean?
100%.
Like they could have used a real pop star.
Yeah.
You know? But Danielle, how did this movie fuck you up?
I guess it's like all the like big gestures in the movie.
You love the gestures.
I love it. It's just it doesn't even have to be a big gesture, but a gesture. Like, I'm listening. I know what you like, and I know what will make you like squee inside and make you happy. And I guess like that final song he wrote for her.
Oh.
It really kills me because it's like him like showing his vulnerability writing lyrics because he doesn't typically do that, and also just being like, I fucked up in song form and like talking about all the ways he loves her within the song.
It harkens to the thing that I love about romantic movies that I think gets overlooked a lot, which is that like really good relationships, whether romantic or not, but you generally, specifically when you feel that romantic intimacy, can help you to become a better person.
100%.
Because you want to be like a reflection of how they see you.
Yeah.
A reflection of how they want you to be.
Yeah.
And I know there's a thing that's like you can only change for yourself, and that's true. But it does help when people inspire you to change.
Yeah.
You know?
I think the cornerstone of a good romantic relationship is bringing out the best in each other and like wanting to be the person that they view you as.
Exactly. Like,
you know?
Yeah, trying to be the person that they see and the person that you want to be for another person.
Yeah.
it's a really unique experience because it's like someone's. I'm sure it's like weird with your kid too. I'm sure that's another experience like that. That's similar where it's like once you have a kid, you're like, oh, I want to be like the best version of myself for this child.
I'd hope.
You would hope, but like that's how I think good relationships are too, where it's like I want to be the person that I would want to be with.
Yeah.
And I can't do that without acknowledging that I have things to change. And I feel like this movie really shows that.
Yeah.
And I also like that the song is like A Way Back Into Love. And both of them are finding a way back into love.
Yeah, because they've both kind of like been burned in the past. So they're like finding their way back. Alex is not only finding his way back into love, but his way back into love for music as well.
Yes. And she's finding her way back into love for writing. Yeah. It's such a cute... I have chills. But like it is cute. It's like all they bring that to each other and it's so special. It's one of those things where I'm like, even if they didn't end up together like forever,
they both grew.
They grew so much together, and it will always be like a meaningful relationship. Beautiful.
I just want you to know
you're my favorite girl.
Boo.
Okay, so
did they? Or didn't they? Did they or didn't they? Did they or didn't they? Did they?
Why are you doing that?
I don't know.
Danielle. Yeah, they did.
They did! And we're happy about it.
It was beautiful.
It was so cute. Drew, Hugh.
Drew and Hugh.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even read. Cindy, Drew, Hugh.
Yeah, I love them.
We love you both. And if you're listening, hi, hello, drop a line. Call me on my telephone.
Yeah.
And you guys are rom-com masters.
True.
Yeah. So thank you guys so much for listening.
Thank you, everyone, for continuing to support our little project, our little poddy.
Our little project.
Or podject. Totally. And, you know, rate, like, comment, whatever. Do your
Download.
thing. Definitely reviews on Apple help.
Yeah, true.
Also, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Apple conspiracy theory. I don't know what's going on, but I guess if you're listening to this, you're probably not listening on Apple. But you know what? Just in case. If you go to and type in "will they, won't they" into the search,
that's when
all
you
the
get
episodes
the
are there.
Yeah,
I don't understand it, but they are technically on Apple.
Yeah, they're just not popping up under the subscription. It's so strange. It's something, but we are on Apple.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
give us a listen.
Give us a listen.
A review.
Us. Comment. Watch our Instagram. We're doing TikTok now.
The kids are on TikTok.
We're on TikTok. So, anyways, thank you so much.
Thank you. We love you so much. Thank you to Pearl for the use of our theme song.
Thank you, Pearl. We'll see you next week.
So long.
Oh my God.
Goodbye. So long. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.